Hey everybody, we are back. I'm Ricky Hampton, along with former Milwaukee Bucks Center Paul Mokeski. This is We Got Next. We're getting off to a little late start. We got a tech for technical difficulties, but Mo, we are here and we are
Yeah.
ready to go.
Our staff of electricians and people behind the scenes, namely Ricky, took care of it.
Well, you can't fire me. At least you can't fire me because I'm part of the show. So maybe I shouldn't speak too soon on that.
Yeah,
But
well, you don't want to be coach of the year or something because then you'll be fired immediately.
yeah, absolutely. But we want to welcome everybody in on this Monday evening. Clearly, we got a lot to talk about as we this is draft week, Mo, and everybody in the NBA is lying right now.
Yeah, yeah. The
What is
phone.
that? What are the days like leading up to to the draft? But before this, Steve Schroeder said we'll find $25.
Wow. Okay. Let us know where we can send that, Steve. Yeah, I mean, there's lots going on with free agency and trade possibilities. The draft's coming Thursday. All the general managers and player personnel are on the phones and trying to guess what other people are thinking. And 90% of what is said on over the phone are lies. They're trying to deceive each other. It's just part of the game. And behind the scenes is really interesting. And then you find out you know who you can trust. That's why a lot of times in the NBA, you see trades made by general managers that know each other, that have a past, because then they actually trust each other. Maybe someone played for Pat Riley, or someone played with somebody else, and with Michael. It's interesting. Michael Dunleavy Jr. just got his general manager job a couple days ago, and he's throwing headfirst right into the fire of Draymond Green denied his
Yeah,
player's option at
declined his
27
option.
mil. So he denied it, right? He didn't sign it, so
Yeah,
he's a free agent. Which doesn't, a lot of people overreact and think, well, he's not going. That doesn't mean that. That means either he's trying to get something done longer term with the Warriors, or he's trying to get something signed so he can be traded. So that's a big thing for the Warriors at this point. They've been running it back for a long time, but now after this year and the tribulations they've had inside their organization, they have a big decision to make. Are they going to commit to Draymond Green, who, in my opinion, has taken a step down talent wise and effectiveness wise, because of his age, and he's had a great run. He's still a very good player. I don't know. I saw somebody say that he said on a podcast that he's still one of the top five players in the league. Very wrong there. You're not even close to a top five player. Come on, man. You need to get rid of your ego, or whatever. But he's still an effective player. Could be a great piece. And we talked last week. If I was the Denver Nuggets, I would look to see if there's any way I could grab him. Because he could be a nice fit at the four, and he could back up the Joker because he does a lot of what the Joker does. He can't shoot threes, but he's a good passer, dribble handoff guy, set picks, all that stuff, backdoor passes. He does a lot of what the Joker does, and he could be a nice little fill-in for him when the Joker goes to the bench. But that's just one of the
yeah,
things that's going on right now.
yeah, yeah. I didn't think Draymond would be our lead conversation tonight, and, but because he came up quick, I do want to hit him because I mean he just can't go anywhere and be effective. Am I right about that, Paul? Doesn't he have to be in a kind of a particular situation to really utilize his skills? Because he's not going to bring
Yeah,
you scoring.
yeah, I think there's so many stagnant offenses in the NBA, right? We complained about the Boston Celtics, right? How stagnant they got. with Brown or Tatum just going one on one, and Draymond Green would not fit in there, because he needs motion on his offense. He needs to hit guys back door and do dribble handoffs and do dribble and set picks and back picks for people, and that's how he's effective in his great passing ability. Now he's a good defender, not as great as he was, but still good, and a good rebounder, and he can push the ball. But yeah, he needs to be an effective. He needs to be in the right system, which he's been in for years now with the Warriors. It was a perfect fit. So
Perfect.
that's why I believe the Warriors are trying to find some way to keep him. But the whole thing with the Poole situation and the punch at the beginning of the year set a bad tone for everything. And I told you, you can say whatever you want. Oh, we shook hands and everything's okay. Blah blah blah. I don't believe that. I think something like that sticks in the back of your mind for a long time, especially if you're a young player, and that's a problem for the Warriors.
Yeah, yeah. But hey, but man, the really the big news of the day was made in Phoenix, where the Suns are uh, trading away Chris Paul and Shamet for Bradley Beal, uh, which gives them just some ultimate firepower on the offensive end with Beal, Booker, and Kevin Durant. I'm interested to know, Mo, how do you see that working? Because all those guys kind of do their thing with the ball, although Durant is really capable of just fitting right into any offense. But Bill and Booker playing together, how do you see this?
I don't. I see it as a potential problem. I don't see it like a Luca Kyrie deal where they're both point guards and they both have to have the ball in their hands. I don't see it as that. But they do have the ball in their hands. KD needs to think how he played with the Warriors, right? He fit into a system, and he played with Clay and Curry, so he can fit in. And the Warriors, when they were successful with him and won a championship, they didn't have really a point guard, right? They all kind of brought the ball down and handled it. The guy that's going to be the odd man out and could throw a wrench in this whole deal is Aiton, the center,
Aiton. Yeah.
because he's already complained about not getting enough shots. Well, guess what? You're going to get fewer shots now. You know, uh, you know, they have a veteran coach now. That might help that a little bit. But if you look at it, uh, Booker 28 points a game, KD 26. Bradley Beal averaged 24 last year, but he's averaged almost 30 before. And then Aiton's at about 18, who could be 20. That's almost 100 points a game between four guys. That's amazing. But it's going to come to how they fit in, how they're willing to work with each other, and really, in my opinion, how Aiden will accept this and how they will keep him involved in the offense. I always believed in the best teams. When your centers run the floor, give them some passes, give them the ball, let them get involved, and get him excited. Then he'll rebound and block shots for you because guess what? No matter how much you can score, you're not going to win the West, and you're not going to win an NBA championship unless you can guard the Denver Nuggets and Joker. It's just not going to happen. So Aiden is a guy that's big enough to defend him, can be effective defend him. I still think they need another big on that team. But he's, to me, Beal and Booker and KD, they can do what they can fit in and do what they want. They just have to understand, get to know each other's game. Aiton is the big piece right here. If he buys in and he's not concerned about points and he's more concerned about winning, he got his contract, right? So he needs to, if he can do that, then that's a big, a big advantage for them. And they also picked up, a couple of younger players like Isaiah Todd, who's a young big that played in the G League mostly. He's 6'10", and Jordan Goodwin, who's a nice solid point guard who's younger too. So that helps them in the long run too. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out.
Steve Steve Schroeder brings up an interesting point, talking about Durant maybe being hurt again, and not only Durant is a kind of an injury concern now, but so is Bill. Bill has not played more than 60 games since 2018. Durant hadn't played more than 55 games since he injured his Achilles in 2019.
Yeah,
And even
so
Booker missed some time last year with injuries.
yeah, but that's everybody's problem, right? Everybody's hurt. LeBron was hurt. AD was hurt. You know, Middleton was hurt. Lopez was hurt. You know, everybody gets hurt. You just have they're going to have to manage it enough. You know, at this point in the West, we know, right? You know, you can finish first or you can finish eighth and still get into get into the finals, right? So, hey, Adam, what's up, man?
Yeah.
So, you know, you got to manage that. That's why you have to have enough depth to be able to have home court, at least for the first round in the playoffs. So that's where these young players, you know, come in and, they got Cam Johnson, who's a decent player, Torrey Craig, who's a free agent. You know, they got some other pieces they need to keep. And here's a name that no one's talking about. And Adam, you will know this, right? They picked up a big. His name is Jock Landale. He's 6'11", 265-pound center from Australia. And he's a big physical player. You saw him a little in the playoffs, and he was pretty effective. If they can sign him, they can take some of the pressure off of KD and Ayton and that, and you know that could help them a lot if the Suns do that.
On the flip side, Chris Paul is on the move again. Do you think? And Adam, yeah, let's get this in from Adam. That's his guy.
He's in Australia, man. So I don't know what time it is there.
Yeah, yeah.
Aussie,
Yeah.
Aussie, oi, oi, oi.
Good call, Big Mo. Jock
I
is
mean,
a fellow Aussie.
we've talked about this before. Like Denver, we'll talk about this in the draft. That bothers me, right? Denver has someone that the hardest person to guard was the Joker because he's so big and strong and skilled. So you have to be able to combat that to win a series against the Denver Nuggets. So all those teams should be thinking along those lines about
Yeah.
how we can guard the Joker. Now, that's not all the thing you have to do, but that's one of the things and one of the main things you have to do. So, you know, signing a big body like Landale, you know, is huge. You know, so he can play 15, 20 minutes a game. You know, if players go down more during the season and then give you 15, 20 hard in the playoffs, that's huge. And, you know, now Chris Paul, you know, I don't think anybody believes that Chris Paul is going to end up with the Washington Wizards. I mean, you know, I think he's going to be on the move. The interesting part of that is
of the ball movement here.
He has, you know, and talk about injuries. He's been hurt a lot, right? So, you know, he's still an effective, true point guard, veteran. Guys listen to him. He can still get it done on the court, not for 35 minutes anymore, but for 30 or 29. But you know, his contract is a huge deal right now. So, you know, he's going to make 20 million, but no, he's going to make 30 million this year and 30 million next year if he's not waived by June 28th, which is 9 days from now. But if he's waived, then his only part of his contract is 15 mil. I'm sorry, it's I can't get the numbers right, but if you waive him, you can save $45 million, and then he becomes a free agent. He can go where he wants and sign what he wants, because if he's going to go to a contender and chase that ring that he's been doing, he's not going to be able to make 30 or 40 million. He's going to have to come down to 15 or 20 to fit into someone's salary cap that has enough firepower to actually make a run at a championship.
Well, we talked about Draymond, where you thought he'd be a good fit. Where would Chris be a good fit? And I know it's kind of hard to get into that because the team's unsettled right now, but just kind of generally speaking.
Well, obviously, a lot of people are talking about LA because that's where he's from, and he has a house there. His family's there. You know, so you know the Clippers would, if he was going for a championship, the Clippers would be number one, I think. However, the problem with the Clippers is right now with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with 8 players, they're at $180 million in salary already. I mean, with Kawhi and Paul George almost making $100 million between them. So, they don't have much room salary cap wise. They have the roster. Zubac's a decent center. Marcus Morris, the not so great twin. Norm Powell, Terrence Mann, Eric Gordon is a free agent. They can with a team option. So they have the roster to make a run at a championship. They still need a big to compete with the Joker, but he would fit in there. And Ballmer, their owner, has. I mean, he's if not the one of the top richest owners in the NBA. When we're talking about billions of dollars. So if you're going over the salary cap at 180 million right now, you're over it. So you're paying another double on that. So you're at 250 million probably. So to sign Chris Paul, you're gonna be at 300 million. But if you want to make a run at this championship, that's a good fit. The other team in LA, the Lakers, I think he would be a good fit there. And this year, they're only at 100 million only. 100 million next year. So they do have room in their salary cap.
Well,
the problem is they have Austin Reeves as a free agent and Hachimura is a free agent. So they have to sign those guys because right now they only have LeBron, AD, Mo Bamba, Vanderbilt, and Malik Beasley. That's the only players they have at this point.
hey, Steve mentioned, of course, he loves his Bucks with Paul. What about Paul in Milwaukee?
I don't think that's I don't know what they would have to give up, but Holiday's my point guard. I don't need Chris Paul. I don't, I'm not going to pay Chris Paul $1 zillion just to put back up to Holiday. So, if you take him off the ball, maybe, it depends on what they do with Middleton. So, taking Holiday off the ball because Chris Paul is a point guard. When he's on the floor, he has the ball. Nobody else does. It's not share the ball. I'm a point guard. You're not. It's not like that. He is dribbling it up. He is running the stuff. He's running sets. So,
but that would be my concern if he went to LA with LeBron. I know LeBron is smart enough to understand stuff. If he has somebody that could do it, but he likes to have the ball too.
Yeah, but not as much as he did. I mean, he's going to be 39 years old. He's right.
Yeah.
So I mean, if LeBron would hand the reins and the basketball at the end of games to anybody, it would be someone like Chris Paul. It wouldn't be, Booker. It wouldn't even be Jamal Murray. It wouldn't be anybody like that. But Chris Paul, yeah, that relationship. And really, Chris Paul is probably only going to play 20, 25 minutes, maybe. And probably at the most important part of the game. So, and when LeBron's out, which he's going to be out more now this year just to survive, and you have Chris Paul there. But,
I want to get to this question Adam has for you, Mo. But before that, you keep saying Chris Paul should only play 25 or 30 minutes. What is the difference as you get older in those, okay, instead of playing 35 minutes, you're going to play 30? How do those 5 minutes accumulate over the year to save a guy?
Oh, they accumulate, and it's not like so you say 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes there. That doesn't add up to 15 on your body. That adds up to about 30 minutes. Especially when you get older, and all these guys when they get at this age, they're icing down after games or in a cold tub. It's tough recuperation, and 5 or 6 minutes. If you're used to, if you're playing, let's say, the Stars. I mean, look at the Denver Nuggets. Those guys play 42, 43 minutes a game. Yeah. They're younger, but mark my words, the Joker can't play 40, 43, 45 minutes a game anymore. That's too much. So get him to around 41 or 42 is a big, big advantage. So when you get older and you go from, say 38 to 30 or 31, that's huge. It's like a whole quarter, when you think about it, because most players, out of a 12-minute quarter, they're playing, 8 to 10 minutes out of that quarter. So now you kind of eliminate one whole quarter of banging and all that stuff. It's a bigger deal than people think.
Yeah. Uh, this is from Adam. I know times change, however, Big Mo. Can you believe the value of contract that these players sign these days? Generational wealth.
Yeah,
Amazing.
you know what? All the like when I came in the league 100 years ago, my contract was $65,000. That's what it was. I mean, but I was happy to get it. And I played a game I love. But when I look back there, I remember in the league, Larry Bird, Dr. J, those guys were making 500,000. That's not even minimum anymore. I mean,
Yeah,
Magic Johnson signed after his first contract. He signed the first $1 million a year contract. I mean, that's around minimum now. But you know what? And it's not the value of the dollar. I'm telling you. People say, "Well, you made 100 grand. That's worth 500." No, it's not. That's the same.
yeah.
There's a little inflation there, but it's not like what you think. But more power to them. But you're talking about Bradley Beal's contract is $210 million or 15 million, right? The next 4 years. I mean, you just have to, put it in the bank and collect your 8 or 10% interest, and your whole family, grandkids, their grandkids are set for life. So it's a whole new ball game. And Adam, that's they make more than that in their endorsements. So if Bradley Beal's making 215 million in the next 4 years, double that. So he's making $500 million. But more power to him.
Yeah.
I wish I
Yeah.
had one, just one.
Yeah. Yeah. Mo, you're about 20 years too late, man.
30?
30 years too late. Yeah.
Oh, 35.
And, yeah. Absolutely. We got some more comments here. Yeah. It seems like I think this came from Steve. That Isaiah Thomas is going to be part of that uh, front office with the Suns. I know he and Ishbia are tight, and so he's going to be leaning on Isaiah. Any thoughts about your former teammate?
Great player, great guy, great teammate. Not sure about his decision making in the front office. Um, back in the CBA days, he kind of messed that up. Then the New York Knicks fiasco. So, he's a good basketball mind. We'll see where that goes. Sometimes you just have to stay out of the way. you know.
Thanks for answering the question, Mo. Appreciate that. That was a great answer, Mo. The insight on that and those 5 minutes, how those 5 minutes add up. Now we got the draft coming up Thursday. Anything you're looking for, going to be watching out for in particular?
Well, I guess I would look at who's going to be the 41st pick, right? Because that's what Joker was.
Or the 42nd, because that's what you were.
That's what I was. Yeah, the draft is, is pretty much a crapshoot. Your draft. All these guys are so young. You're drafting on potential. There's Wembayama, Yama, the 7'4" French kid that I watched him. I was at this game right here. He obviously runs the floor. He has an 8-foot arm span. It's just phenomenal. I played against some long players and seen some long players, but he might be the longest I've ever seen. And he's athletic. He's got a great touch. Runs the floor. One of the things I was really impressed was his shot blocking. He really great timing. He can block shots without fouling. He's not a post-up guy, but he has that Dirk shot, the one-legged thing. He's got turnaround jump shots. He can run pick and rolls, handling the ball. There's his shot block right there. And he does it without fouling people. But he is only about 215 pounds. But anymore, the league is, more finesse. I think there's less physicality. Um, you know, but if he's going to guard the Joker, the Joker's going to back him down and just abuse him. But his length might, if he plays it smart, might bother him. But here's a guy that he's obviously the first pick. He's got deep range right there. Um,
Hey, but
the
Mo, when you see him shoot that shot, if you're playing against him, aren't you saying, brother, you can have that shot all day?
No, I mean he's a really good 3-point shooter. You got to make him put on the floor. Hopefully, come with some help. Make him pass the ball. See if he'll turn the ball over. I mean, he can shoot that shot. He can shoot it all day. I mean, uh, you know, the the biggest thing he did was is he shot
This
a
is
three
Scoot
in
Henderson.
France. He shot a three in France and tip dunked his own rebound. But anyway, this is Henderson, uh, who's played in the Ignite. I've seen him practice. I've seen him play. I've been around him a little bit. He's more of a true point guard. He's strong. He can finish. Obviously, his jump shot is suspect. Not a great 3-point shooter. Um, Really, for the young man he commands leadership. He knows the game. He's got a high basketball IQ. My problem with him is he floats sometimes. You kind of forget he's on the floor. He'll do stuff like that, and for 5 minutes, you think he's the best player on the court, and then the next 5 he might disappear on you, and that's a concern for me.
Hey, Mo,
But
when you say he floats, is that is that? Are you explaining what you mean when you say he floats?
you don't know he's there. He's not
Gotcha.
impactful. He doesn't get to the basket strong. He doesn't defend or rebound or push the ball. He doesn't take the ball to the basket like that. So 5 minutes, he won't do any of that. So he's floating around the court, not being effective.
Hey, I want to go back to Wimbyana for a second. Steve has a comparison there. Is he like Sam Bowie?
No, no, not even close. No, Sam was athletic like this, but he didn't have the touch like this. Sam could block shots. I think Victor Wembanyama is better shot blocker, and I think he runs a little better. Uh, I compare him. He was saying Sam Bowie, right? That's what he
Yeah,
said. No, I
yeah.
compare him more to Ralph Sampson. Uh, Victor is more like Ralph Sampson. Ralph Sampson. If Ralph Sampson was playing today, this is what he would do right here. That would be Ralph Sampson.
Wow, wow. Well, that's a long way for a 7'4" guy to shoot it. I guess I just want my big guy a little closer to the basket, Mo.
Not if he's 250 pounds, you don't.
Yeah,
Because then you'll have someone like me beating him up. No,
yeah.
he's not. This is how he's going to play. If people think he's going to be the Joker, back to the basket, off the elbow guy, he's not. That's not him.
Well, and we talked about it a little bit last week uh, against Monaco in the playoffs that eliminated his team. He struggled, and they were very. I was reading about it. They were very physical with him.
Yeah, everyone's going to be physical with him, and he's going to struggle. I'm telling you, next year everybody thinks he's gonna come in and own the league. No, he's not. He's not. He's gonna have phenomenal games. He might have a game with 30 and 15, and then the next night he might have 9 and 4 because he's a young man. He's only 18 years old or 19, and he's not built for the league yet. He
Yeah,
won't be in his prime for another 5, 7 years.
yeah,
So, if people think he's going to every night he's going to perform, and it's not. He's going to be up and down. He's got great talent, but he's 215 pounds. I mean, he's going against guys that are 240, 250 easy.
who are grown men.
Yeah, who are grown men, and that's when he played in the French Championship. That's who he played
Right,
against. He played
right,
against a center that played for 4 years with the Houston Rockets.
right.
So, but he is he's a he is a game changer. I mean, you're gonna have patience. I mean, listen, they laughed at the Dallas Mavericks and Dirk Nowitzki. They laughed at him his first year in the league. He averaged 7 points a game his first year. Dirk averaged 7 points a game and 5 rebounds. So and Dirk is probably one of the top power forwards ever to play the game.
Wow.
So, he struggled too. So, this kid he can get there, but there's going to be people laughing at him next year. Watch, and
Wow.
he should just go talk to Dirk, because Dirk was very frustrated his first year, and people were laughing at him and and it just took time. So, this is the reality, and that's what the draft is. You're drafting potential, but my God, he's 7'4", 7'5" with an 8 foot arm span. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean when he gets catches a lob, his chin is above the rim. It's freaky.
Yeah. And Adam, thank you for checking in with us from Aussie land. We appreciate you, brother. You have a great day over there, whatever time it is. I think
Yeah, exactly.
it's already Wednesday over there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think so. Thanks,
Yeah.
Adam.
And Steve, that's right. Dirk was drafted by the Bucks.
And then traded right away. Yep.
Yeah, and then they let him go. Too bad,
that
Milwaukee.
that was a done deal before he was even drafted, though. That was
Yeah.
already done. Yeah. Because the only people that really went over were Donnie Nelson that went over and watched him in Germany. Dirk Nowitzki woke eyes up when he played at the Final Four. He played in an All-Star game during the Final Four in San Antonio against United States players, and that's when he woke up a lot of people.
Ron said it's midday Tuesday. Yeah, yeah. What I'm talking
Get
about
some,
Wednesday. Yeah,
get some,
yeah.
yeah, get some. Yeah, it's not 2 days. Come on, get some lunch. Get some lunch, Adam.
Appreciate you, brother.
I mean,
Hey,
let's talk. We're talking about Wembayama. Let's talk about Chet Holmgren, right? Chet
yeah,
Holmgren came out last year, and 7'3", 7'4", handle the ball, shoot. He got hurt in the summer. We haven't even seen him. He's actually going to be officially going to be a rookie next year, so he's going to be fighting against Victor for Rookie of the Year. But that's going to be interesting. But these things are sometimes can be hit or miss.
yeah.
Um,
Uh, hey, Mo, I was gonna ask you about um, when guys come in young at that age. I mean, very young, out of high school. I guess LeBron was probably the closest I've seen to just being ready to play coming out of high school. But most of these guys need how much time do you give these kids?
Well, like I told you before, when you're in a draft room, you say, "Hey, we're drafting these guys to play for some other coach, but we'll be fired by the time they can play." I mean,
I mean,
some
that is, I mean, you joke about that, but that is an absolute fact in a lot of cases.
well, you're drafting 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds. Yeah, I mean, they're going to play against 30-year men. So, I think everybody's kind of different. I mean, you look at Christian Brown. I always call him Braun because that's what but it's Brown. With the Denver Nuggets. I mean, he's an end of first round pick. Nothing spectacular, right? He's not
Right.
really super long. He's not super athletic. He shoots the three, but not knockdown three. But he just plays hard, and his body is kind of built like that, and he's tough. So he can come in and be impactful for a team right away, and he's on a team that's going to give him some minutes. Because the Denver Nuggets aren't very deep; they play 6 or 7 guys. But some guys take longer, and some guys don't. They never turn into what they were supposed to. So that's why you have to be cautious when you're putting all these expectations on these young kids. And I keep saying, they laugh at Dirk. They're gonna laugh at. They could laugh at Victor Wembanyama.
Steve, you're right on point, brother. I'm fighting these allergies tonight, man, but I'm gonna tough through this. Hey, Mo, we see all these deals going down. We're talking. You're hearing about maybe Damian Lillard on the move. Surely we're gonna hear some more news. This is draft week, so we know it's gonna be some other stuff going down. But what is Denver thinking?
Well, I mean, if I'm Denver, they need a legitimate backup big, right? They need someone to back up Joker, and I think they need another wing 3 and D guy. And that's all they need. They have all their guys are secured up for a few years, but they can't sit still. You know, they have to make moves. So I'm sorry, but if you're playing DeAndre Jordan in the NBA Finals as your backup big, that's a red flag there. I'm sorry, so But here's what we're going to see on Thursday, though, and we're seeing it right now, right? So there's movement in the draft. Brandon Miller, the kid from Alabama, who was at the beginning of the year picked like the number one pick, right?
Right.
Right. So he was the number one pick. He's dropped to about 4 or 5 now because
Right.
so he went to Charlotte and had workouts with Scoot Henderson, and Scoot Henderson performed well, and supposedly Brandon Miller did not perform so well. So you'll see some. Here's my 2 cents worth on Thursday. In my opinion, you'll see Brandon Miller probably drop down the list from he was at 1, he's at 4 now. He could drop to 7 or 8 until someone takes him. You never know. And there's 2 twins that they played with Overtime Elite. That's a program out of Atlanta
The
that had
Thompson brothers.
yeah. So they signed high school players and young players, and they make money and play. So the Thompson brothers, Amen and Asar, are both 6'8", super long, athletic guys, really young, really raw, that are moving their way up the ladder. You know, I'm interested to see where Grady Dick goes, the 3-point shooter from Kansas, 6'8", shoots the light out of 3. Because here's my opinion: Kristen Brown playing as well as he did in the finals is going to lift Grady Dick's stock because he played at Kansas. He played the same position, and in my opinion, is better. So his stock might rise. So stuff like that's going on. Here's my pet peeve, though. I looked at the mock draft, Ricky, and there's only, out of the 60 picks, there's only 8 that are 6'11" or taller centers. Only 8. And here's my point. Over the last 5 years, the MVP of the NBA has been Embiid, the Joker twice, and Giannis. They're all 7 foot. And the person we're talking about, the hardest to guard in the NBA, is the Joker. And he's 7 foot center. And no one's drafting him. Maybe they're not out there, but they're not trying to draft him. And I know one guy that's out there that now is going back to Purdue is
Edie.
Zach
Edie.
Edey. Zach
Yeah.
Edey is 7'3", 300 pounds, college player of the year, averaged 24 points and 13 rebounds and 2 block shots a game. And no one was going to pick him in the first round.
That is absolutely crazy.
That's mind-boggling. If he's going to be young, but he's got the he's like, to me, he's like in between Brooke Lopez and Yao Ming. He's kind of in there. He's got a good touch. He makes 80% of his free throws. He's not as he can't move as well as Lopez, but he moves better than Yao, who's going in the Hall of Fame. So that's mind-boggling that NBA teams are picking guards and wings and 3-3Ds and all these, and they're not picking like an Edie who, it's mind-boggling to me. So, that's my venting for the night of pick some big guys, man.
Yeah, and really, with the exception of the Golden State championships, we've had big guys. You look, when the Lakers won it, I think that was 20. They had Dwight Howard.
Yep.
They had Gasol, and had Anthony Davis.
Yep.
Playing big time minutes. They were a big team.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody had trouble with the Joker. Everybody had trouble with Embiid. These big guys. Giannis is a little different. Because he's more athletic. But these other two. So why wouldn't you want to try and get someone? Here's a name I'll throw at you then. Right?
But even with Giannis, they had Lopez.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So here's a name: Tristan Vukovic, 7 foot, 230 pounds, Serbian. That's projected in the second round, just like the Joker, around 42. Watch that name.
Wow, that is yeah. That I'm going through our comments. I think somebody brought that up earlier about the big guys getting overlooked. I don't know, Mo.
But here's a problem. So if you're not Wembyamba and you're not like that, and you're 18 years old or 19 years old, and you're a big guy, you're 10 years from your prime. 10 years.
Yeah.
The prime of big is 30 to 34. So NBA scouts are afraid to take chances on him. But I mean, if you're Zach Edey, who's 20, 21 years old, you're closer to. That's the mind-boggling thing.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think's going to happen with Damian Lillard in Portland?
I mean, everyone says Miami's after him, Boston might be after him, people like that. But then I just saw today that they're working out they're working out all the draft picks. And, every NBA team brings their draft picks in and works them out. Their coaches work them out. Some of the players, and he's been at those workouts in Portland. So to me, that seems like he's staying. But obviously he's a valuable asset that a lot of teams want and need. However, what you have to give up to get him is another question.
But my only thing about that, they're kind of stuck there. I mean, they're not going to beat anybody with just him there.
Nope.
They,
No.
I mean, they got a hard time winning a series.
Yeah, and they're not. I mean, Clippers. I don't know what happened to them. They should be there. Denver, Lakers, maybe. Dallas, maybe. Oklahoma City's coming up. Memphis, Sacramento. I mean, that's 8 teams right there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so yeah, so maybe he has to decide, or hey, I need to go somewhere, and maybe I have to take a pay cut or a rearrangement of my contract, or if he wants to make a run at this thing, because it's not going to happen in Portland.
Yeah. I'm reading the Celtics plan to sign Jalen Brown. Uh, they do not plan to trade Jalen Brown, and it looks like they're going to sign him to a supermax extension.
Yeah. Okay. So what we
That's
talked about at
that
the beginning? What did we
5 years, 295 million.
What did we talk about at the beginning of this show?
I don't get that one, man.
All the lying that goes on right now. We're
Yeah.
not trading him. We love him. He's part of. See
Right.
you
Yeah.
later. This is a business.
Yeah.
Portland is looking at picking Amen Thompson, one of the twins, at the third pick. So
Right.
but again, he's 18 years old. So he's not going to come in and make you a contender right away anyway. So you know,
Yeah. And Mo, when you hear that, you learn that personally here in Detroit, right at the trade deadline. They said, Mo, you're not going anywhere.
no, they told me that when I was buying my house 2 months before, and
Yeah,
then they
that
traded
was
me
a
3 months later.
that was Trader Jack McCloskey too, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a business. You saw, Chris Paul was on Good Morning America today. He found out
Yeah.
he was traded on the plane flying there to New York,
Yeah.
and he told him this is a business. Anything can happen in the NBA. I mean, all those guys that are drafted on Thursday might be changing hats 1 hour later. Here,
Right.
okay, you're this one, I'm that one. Give me that one,
I,
okay.
I always remember Kobe Bryant. I think he had a Charlotte Hornets cap on
Yep,
the
absolutely.
day, the day he got traded.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Uh,
that's part of the business. I mean, you know,
we need to see some twin tower lineups. So, well, you see it all the time, Steve, in
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee with
Yeah, just
Giannis and Lopez, and
you
they are
got
very effective. They are very effective.
you got 6'8". You got no. You got 6'8", 6'11", 7 foot. That's your lineup. Lopez, Middleton, and Jones. That's your lineup.
Yeah, yeah. And then you bring in Bobby Porter's. What, he's 6'9", 6'10"?
Yeah, I mean, that's I mean, you can't. The years of the big man. That's not dead. It's just different. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
look at
well
the
said. That's
look at
well
the
said.
look at the MVPs. They're all 7 foot. The last 5 years, every MVP has been 7 foot tall. The best player in the NBA has been 7 foot tall.
Yeah, that is well said. Uh, Mo, any final thoughts before Thursday?
No, I mean, there's going to be some more shifting going on, some more lying going on. The draft is interesting, but I mean, truthfully, if you're talking, you're talking Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson. It was Brad Miller, but his stock is dropping. After that, it's a crapshoot, right? You got all these guys that have played and had. If I'm there and I'm in the top five, I'm looking at Grady Dick. I know I'm a KU guy, but there's a 6'8", 6'9" guy that can shoot the lights out. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
shoot, he's like the next Duncan Robinson, except probably better, shoots better, maybe. I don't know, but there's going to be some shifting in. I'm interested to see if Brandon Miller drops. He's already dropping a little bit. If he drops more or not, because to me, he's one of the guys that's ready to help a team right now. 6'9", can handle the ball, shoot, strong, finish, tough. But we'll see on Thursday night.
Another one of most pet peeves. Steve, you're right. OKC got 1,000,000 draft picks, and Mo could care less.
Yeah, I mean, what do they have? They have 12, right? They have the 12th pick, right? I don't know. They don't have anything after that. I mean, you're looking at teams that own the draft. Orlando has the 6th pick and the 11th pick. Will they trade and move up? Do they want Scoot Henderson? Do they want somebody else? Utah has 9 and 28. Houston has 4. That's valuable in 20. And Indiana has 7 and 29. But if you're OKC, your roster is already a college roster. They're all 19, 20 years old. So you can't win a championship. You can't get into the finals with that. You need some veterans on that team. So that's what's going to be interesting, because they have a lot of young talent now. I'm talking about, that are valuable. It's like in baseball, if the Dodgers or somebody has some, has some people in their minor system like pitchers or, cleanup hitters and stuff, those are valuable trade assets. Oklahoma City has them, but are you going to keep going? It's the future. We're building for the future. We're going to draft another 18-year-old, and he's going to come in, and he's not going to. Or are you going to make some moves, trade one of your assets, and trade some draft picks and get some veterans in there, then combine them with those young guys and maybe make a run at something?
Mo, over the next 8 drafts, OKC has 33 picks.
How many are first round?
Let's see.
Because
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, they have 8 first round.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14. But some of these are their own. So I don't have time to count.
I mean, to me, look at the draft. If you're not picking Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, one of the 2 twins, or Brandon Miller, what's the point?
Right.
That's 6. So if you're picking anywhere below 6, what's the point in these draft picks? And second rounders you can buy for $100,000. So that those draft picks to me, what my personal opinion, those are front office people protecting themselves, saying, "Well, we have all these assets, and we've really built these assets." They don't mean anything. You know what means something? Wins and losses.
Yeah.
Playoff victories, playoff series victories. That's what matters. Draft picks and young players, who cares?
I mean, I am so with you on that, Mo. I am so. That just seems so hollow to me. 33 picks. I think they like saying we have 33 picks over the next.
It's like hoarding. Hey, look, I got all this. Yeah, but
it sounds good, but there's no substance
that
to
nobody
that.
wants. I got a house full of stuff. Yeah, but nobody wants it. Nobody wants your stuff. It's garbage. Most of it's garbage. So here's the safe thing to do is keep doing that. Keep your job. The ballsy thing to do and what you should do is one of your young player that is into, people want him. He's probably one of your best players. You should package him and 10 of your draft picks and get 2 veterans that can help you win right now and help the young players get better.
Hey Mo, one last thing. We hadn't talked about this guy in a while, and he's available for Zingas. Talking about a 7-footer, a big guy.
Yeah, but what's his status? He's not a free agent, is he?
He has player option.
Yeah, so he has to decide, you know. But
And free agency starts. You got the draft Thursday, and free agency starts on the 30th.
yeah, I mean, Porzingis is towards the end of his career, though. I mean, he's come off a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the big that I was looking at was trying to look for his name right here. I took a note here. He plays for the Bulls.
Is that Vukovic?
Yeah.
Vukovic.
Yeah.
Good player.
He averages 17 and 10. He's 6'10", 6'11", 260 pounds, and he's a free agent. So, and Porzingis is making, 30 million, whatever he's making. You could get a younger Vukovic and sign him. If I'm looking at a center, an impactful center, that's the guy I'm looking
at. And especially if you out west and you got to play against Joker, he's got the size to at least battle with him, son.
You have to. I mean, look at, you could just see it, Miami didn't have any size, they just couldn't battle him, and that could cost them a championship. And if you're in the West and you're trying to get to the finals, you better find someone that can battle him. You have to, or you're just treading water to lose in the West Finals.
Yeah. Well, big fella, we're gonna get out of here. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Hey, we've got an international audience, and we really appreciate it. Keep coming back and checking us out.
And share with your friends. Have your friends join us. Love it.
Absolutely. And don't forget, you can catch this show and all our past shows on Believe. That's BLEAV.com, where you get where you get any of your favorite podcasts. Just look for We Got Next with Ricky Hampton and Paul Mokeski.
We'll probably be doing something Friday, maybe after the draft.
Oh yeah, we would definitely have a draft roundup. Break this down. No, I can't wait. I think this is really going to be interesting.
Hey, and your team in Detroit has the 5th pick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was they're looking at Cam Whitmore, I think,
from Villanova.
To add to Duncan, Cunningham, Jay Knight, and Ivy, and they got a good group of young players there, man.
Yeah.
It could be interesting, but guess what they need?
A big guy. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll see. But until then, I'm Rick Hampton, Big Mo, Paul Mokeski. Peace, everybody. See you soon. Look for us after the draft. We'll have something for you. Okay. Take care, everybody.